Welcome back to the Dog Bowl Food Truck. What a ride last episode, huh? I'm not sure I want to comment on the events last episode because I'm just really so bewildered by the entire direction that this route has taken. Because again, it's like Carl's route was a slow burn, normal activity that led into a second slow burn, descent into psychological whatever. This, on the other hand, this has been pretty quick on things to come at you from all angles, and it's strange and uncomfortable, and I don't like it. But I will also mention for meta knowledge that I did get some sleep, and this is a new recording session. So let's see how he's even a little more high energy this time, you know? Kudzu is standing next to the pump when I get back, holding a battery. What? I grab his arm and yank him towards the road. Come on. I mutter under my breath before jogging down the road. Kudzu close behind, looking over his shoulder. It's not until we're at the end of the road turning onto Main Street before I'm able to slow myself down and tell Kudzu what happened. Holy shit, that's Brian. Who? I'm still panting, sweating heavily in the heat after the short jog down the street. Big ass bear that lives in the brush, right? He has a trailer in there. I don't know him. Did he move here after I left? I thought a badger lived in that trailer. I assume so. He was here when I got here. What the fuck was he doing? What the hell did I just see? My mind is still trying to process it. I don't have the answer. Can't say I'm surprised, though. Are you serious? That's like the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. Kudzu smirks. Well, I guess I would have had to have been there. Huh. I hate that. That makes perfect sense and all that, and I know it's not the first time I've read that or heard that or seen that. I just hate that collection of English words. I stare at him. Yeah, I guess. Before what I know of Brian, he's dumb and violent. Pretty sure he came here because he caused too much trouble in Peyton. It's Clint that's the fucked up part. He's a fucking homophobe. But he's doing that shit? I don't know much about Clint either. What I do know is that Brian is a dealer. Or is his dealer. Okay, so I was gonna theorize about that a little bit, but now that we got that confirmed, I was gonna say, like, just, if you were to be desperate and need a fix, I wouldn't be surprised. Really? Well, yeah, really. The entire town's dealer. It made sense that Clint would need one in Echo, considering he was banned for life from driving after getting like 3 DUIs. But I thought Jeremy did that? Carl told me that's where he gets his weed. Kudzu shrugs again. I assume Clinton's using more than marijuana. Huh. It's becoming clearer what kind of relationship Clint and the bear have. I shudder, just wishing that I hadn't had to witness it. I already feel bad for Clint, but now. Kudzu holds out the battery still in his hand. Want to move to the school? Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. The next hour is pretty uneventful, though. Though I do get enough footage to the point where I'm satisfied. There is a point where I notice Duke down the road. He stands there for a while watching us as I'm getting different angles of the school. It's annoying, but even though he's a complete fuck up, he likes to pretend like he's in control of things in Echo. Probably just promoted himself to sheriff of the town in his mind or something. I ignore him though, and the next time I look up, he's gone. I turn my attention back to the project, finally able to calculate how much work I actually have left. Now most of my work is going to have to happen the night before the due date. Oh, jeez. We've all been there, haven't we? I cannot tell you how many times I have had to improv an entire essay on the fly. And usually I got pretty decent grades when I did it. You know, they did the whole like 1 to 4 grading, 4 being the best, and I'd usually get a solid 3. I swallow, stomach churning at the thought. On the bright side, all of this stress is pushing me the memory of Clint being hanged and whipped out of my mind. Later on, I finally get another text from Leo just before my phone dies. Heading back. I'm hungry. We should meet at the diner. Sure. I invite Kudzu to come along, but he tells me that he can't stand diner food and that he was gonna go fishing anyway. It's too bad. I've really been enjoying the raccoon's company, and fishing sounds relaxing. I try to exchange numbers with the raccoon, but my screen dies the moment I turn it on. Kudzu takes my number, though, and promises to text me. I'm feeling better, walking to the diner, but then I remember what happened with Leo. What I might have to do. Should I bring it up now? I don't even know where it'll end up going. Could I even trust him again? Leo's not in the diner when I get there. I pick a booth towards the back, resting my head against the patchy cushions and closing my eyes. The week's gone by so fast. It feels like only yesterday that we actually got here. Thinking back, I remember worrying that everything was going to be awkward, that our past would catch up in the worst way possible. And it kind of did. We didn't fix or talk about anything. That gives me a jolt of realization and sadness. This whole time I've been preoccupied with Leo, and Leo with me. Wasn't Leo the one that was all concerned about us not keeping the pack together? This send-off feels empty and pointless. It's really the last time I might get to hang out with some of them, mainly Jenna and TJ. And TJ had the most shit to air out. Did I fuck up by basically ignoring him this whole time? I feel a lump in my throat as I think about the hike I never went on with him. Sure, I'd figured things out with Leo, at least temporarily. Very temporarily, actually. Already things are in jeopardy again. But now it feels like things I should have talked about with the others have been buried further. Even though I haven't seen the others for a few days, I can feel their resentment, knowing that Leo and I got what we wanted. Or at least, I thought I got what I wanted. Especially after leaving them to deal with the fallout of Flynn's meltdown. Now, because of that, it'll be harder to reach to the root of the problem, harder to talk about it. Because of that, we probably never will. I glance at my dead phone, reminded of the complete lack of texts from anyone other than Leo. Oh, You can actually see the reflection in this one, and it's a different reflection than the one you can see in Carl's route. Also, I think I might finally be getting numb to the otter phone jump scare. Ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, oh, there we go. Alright, okay, I'm back. I think we're right about where we were. Also, quick thing, when you are submitting bug reports, never submit what you think happened, just submit the sequence of events that led to you encountering the problem. That's the best thing you can do to get it fixed. So I might have skipped a dialogue line here, and I'm afraid to go back now that I know that can happen. So what Chase had just been thinking in his internal monologue was that it's bad that he hasn't connected with everybody. Things are going to be harder to talk about now. And then he thinks maybe that's for the best. Sydney's death will die with us. It just sucks that we all carry it, but can't rely on each other for support. I take a deep breath, wondering how long it will take me to process the whole trip. Or maybe my entire life up to this moment. It's at this point I notice Janice hasn't come up to take my order. The diner itself is completely quiet. No old rockabilly coming over the staticky speakers. I look around, wondering if maybe the place is closed. I remember a few businesses didn't lock their doors. Mostly because of negligent employees, because burglary is somewhat common here. I look through the plastic window and the swinging door to the kitchen past the counter and notice the fluorescent lights are definitely on. In fact, it looks like I can see movement from the shadows on the wall. I think about getting up and knocking on the door to let them know I'm here, but that's when the front door pushes open. Leo comes in, a big grin on his face. Jula! My stomach twists as he steps up to my side, and I can't help but jerk it away when he kisses at my cheek. He pulls back, frowning. Jace? I sigh, not able to meet his eyes. Leo, I need to talk to you about something. Immediately, I can see the worry in his eyes. He steps back, watching me. What? Sit down. Why? Leo asks, but sits down anyway. First off, I have to tell him that I looked at his fucking phone, and that's bad enough. I look to the right, heart pounding. Otter, what is it? His voice is soft, but I can hear the slight tremble in it. Leo, I looked at your phone. What? I jump as Leo's hackles rise and he bares his teeth. It's not an angry reaction, more defensive, fearful. Leo, why the fuck would you do that? I shrink back, looking down as I listen to his breathing pick up. I'm sorry, but you know what I saw. Fuck, man. Leo puts his face in his hands, which gives me an opportunity to look up. His ears are down, drooping towards the table. Why did you do that? I wait while Leo continues to hide his face, his body rocking. Not now. Not now what? You can't do this to me now. Not after. I didn't do anything. You're the one texting people that I don't give a fuck about them. His eyes snap, or his head snaps up. Then, and I can see his eyes glistening. I didn't say that. I just said you were busy. And what you said to TJ... Leo winces at that one, and he slumps back into his booth, his face dejected, desperate. Please, Chase, just try to... Please, Chase, just try to understand. What? I let some anger into my voice, wanting to show Leo that I'm not going to forgive him just because he's sad. And I think he realizes that because his face changes, lips bared out of anger this time. Yeah, I'm real fucking guilty, aren't I? Yeah, you are. Says the asshole that just ditches me, avoids me, won't talk to me. I didn't say anything in response. Yeah, 'cause you fucking can't, you chunt. And you wonder why I'm fucked up about this? You're the one that just walked out and left me. I was young. That's not an excuse. Stop hiding behind it, because that's not an excuse. Yeah, you keep saying that like you're not young now. If you had actually dumped me, then maybe I wouldn't be this fucking messed up about it. The last sentence escalates into a scream, and I flatten back into the booth, glaring up at him. Leo had never hurt me before, and I'm not afraid he will now. I've endured plenty of his tantrums. Do you know how crazy this makes you look? Oh, great. You too. I'm serious. This is fucking unacceptable. I'm drawing the line here. Leo's snarling face turns up, and that's when I hear movement behind me. I turn in my seat and see Janice striding out from behind the counter, the kitchen door swinging shut behind her. Janice? Leo's fur flattens back down, like he's forgotten all about our argument. It makes sense why. Something's wrong. Janice had been acting strange all week and gradually looking more haggard and pissed off as time went on. Of course, I hadn't forgotten what happened on the side of the road a few days back. But I'd been content with just assuming it had been some type of drug-fueled adventure of hers. Now I'm convinced she's having a mental breakdown. God, are we sure it's not just the hair dye? Like, just saying. She's got, like, furries with Karen hair. Like, okay, there are two subtypes of furry artwork that I never thought I would have to say I don't want to see this. And that's, you know, meth addict furries and furries with Karen haircuts. Just... And before we move on to whatever this is, because I feel like this might be about the same time in Carl's, like timeline-wise, we're about at the same point in Carl's route where shit goes down. I again need to point this out. Leo, honestly, yeah, he was lying, and I will fully acknowledge that that's isolation, that's manipulation, that's... You can even argue it might be triangulation, where the manipulator keeps two people they want to manipulate separate from each other. That way, those two people have to go through the manipulator. you know? Uh, so that might be all those things, but I'm gonna be real with you. It's not that big a deal. Because while, yeah, Chase did, while Leo did some manipulations here, Chase is the one who said, I love you. Chase is the one who decided, yeah, you know what? I still love Leo. I this, I that. Like, there was pressure from Leo's side and pressure from Leo's perspective, but it really does feel like Chase, genuinely of his own accord, said those things, wants those things. So I find it difficult, beyond the fact that I now view Chunt as barely above the dirt, barely above insects. Beyond that, I find it hard to side with Chase in this argument at all. Because, it's not like I had to grow and accept the fact that because of one bad ex, I did fucked up shit. In terms of, like, my relationships. So it's just... God, I'm sorry. I just had to think about him again for a second. Because you want to know what the ultimate kick in the balls was about him? I did that thing that you're never supposed to do. And they tell you not to do it, they tell you don't look, they tell you don't do it, but I did it. I went back to his Furfinity page, which is, the closest thing to a social media page. And he's got a husband now. A husband with a fursona that was just like me. A husky with some nice colored hair, who's kind of a Vorny daddy. And all I could think of was, wow, so with me you were toxic, emotionally abusive, corroded everything that I held dear, called me childish, called me stupid. And I had to be the one to finally grow up and realize that you hated me, so I ended it for the both of us. And yet with this guy, you loved him so much you married him. You drew him. He never drew me. So yeah, while I do feel like Chase is a piece of shit and Leo needs to get his life sorted, it's not one single person's fault in this. It takes two to tango. And all it sounds like is that Chase and Leo have some broken toes at this point. Well, let's get back to the story. Her fur is mussed up on every inch of her body. Her eyes are wild and wide, similar to how I'd seen Clint earlier. Blood is smeared across her apron, and the handle of a knife sticks out of the front pocket. Janice? Are you okay? Leo's half standing. I'm not sure if it's because he's afraid of her. I'm not sure if it's because he's afraid for her or of her. She doesn't say anything, and as she slides up next to our booth, I slide a bit towards the inside. Under her wild gaze, I'm feeling a little trapped. Janice? Why all the shouting? Little impatient? Well, let me take your order and I'll get you settled. Are you okay? Are you cooking? Leo gazes at her apron. Yes, I'm cooking today. What can I make you? I get the unnerving feeling that she isn't even looking at us. Leo glances back at me, to which I respond with a bewildered look of my own. You know, I think we might... Nonsense, I've got everything fired up in the kitchen. Leo doesn't respond, just stares at the big coyote. Janice smiles crookedly. Well, if you're not gonna order something, then I'll just make your favorite. With that, she turns and starts waddling off, having not even acknowledged me. What the fuck? I reach into my pocket thinking about calling an ambulance for the poor woman until I remember my phone is dead. I whisper over to Leo. Should we leave? Maybe. But Leo doesn't move, just stares after Janice. Is this music getting louder? It feels like this music is getting louder. Almost like a sense of normalcy is trying to enforce itself upon us. I look out the window to the sun-baked road. Have you noticed something's off? About Janice? No shit. Not just her, the whole town. I think about mentioning the meadow with Clint and Brian, but I'm still trying to absorb that myself. Leo sits back, still looking back at the kitchen door where Janice disappeared. Honestly, people act so crazy here. I don't know if it's because of drugs or because they're actually crazy. I see his nose twitch. And I don't think she knows how to cook. Something smells funny in here. I look back out the window, wondering if I should bring up our argument again. That scene with Janice has totally thrown me off, and I'm reluctant to waste more of my energy yelling. It has to be brought up again somehow. We can't just let this sit. It's clear that's exactly what Leo wants, though. So I huff and stare out the window. This fucking town. I haven't been paying much attention to it in the past few days, being too infatuated with Leo. Sure, I'd seen some weird things, but it seems in my absence everyone's gone to the fucking wacky shack. I look at Leo. Have you been noticing any of this weird shit going on? Leo sighs. Again, I never know what's weird or not here. I guess I've noticed a few things. I frown. Were you just hoping I wouldn't notice? Leo doesn't say anything. Instead, he just goes on staring at the kitchen. Yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna lie. I can still see Leo's perspective from this to a degree. I can see it from the perspective of Leo having a job, being paid well, having a family business, for that matter, and having his own house that his parents gave him, having his own car. So, by all accounts, Leo has stability in his life, and that's what he feels like he's offering to Chase. He doesn't see it as stagnation. And while there is a very fine line between cemented stability and stagnation, it's important to recognize where you are on that line. In Leo's case, while he is stable, he is solidly stable, it's also that he has also started to stagnate because of it. I mean, like, shit, it wasn't, like, again, I've had this whole big thing way earlier in this series where I had to wonder if Leo even wanted to take over the family business when he was younger. Like, I have to wonder if this is like another Carl situation where how much of his life he actually got to choose and how much was chosen for him. Like, sure, at any point he could just choose, nah, fuck this, and just bails and just leaves. And it sounds like he tried to go to college, but we don't know what caused him to back out and leave. Like, he couldn't cut it or something. But it really does sound like when he puts his mind to something he wants, he will do whatever he can. And it just sounds like constantly between the football and Chase, it just sounds like everything Leo's ever put his mind to try and grasp at, it slips through his fingers. So I'm gonna be real. As bad as some of his behaviors are, and as scary as some of his behaviors are, the root of the problem really does humanize him and make me sympathize with him. I see a man who's grown up having to claw and fight to hold on to anything. And now that he's started to build a life, and he's having to try and reconcile with the fact that the missing piece is Chase, in his eyes, but he has to choose between the life he's built and Chase. And Chase is not helping that whatsoever by choosing to stay, interact with Leo like this and not, having proper conversations with him. Because I'm going to point out that every time they have a serious conversation, Chase is very avoidant. He's very avoidant, does not want to accept responsibility or accountability for the shit that he's done in the past. And that is so fucked up. So, while Leo does need therapy, I'm gonna be real, he needs some therapy. Chase needs to fucking go bye-bye. Chase needs to leave and let this man heal. Either that, or grow a pair, Chase, and stay with Leo. Commit to this man, and actually accept the love that he is trying to give you. Stop with this back and forth thing, because it almost sounds to me like Chase just wants the attention. That's really almost what it sounds like, is Chase just likes the attention. So he keeps stringing Leo along. But with that, I should go ahead and call the episode here. I wanted to quickly, really quickly diverge off and give a thanks to... I feel bad because I never know how to say your name. Doranrab, I think is how you say it. He and I had some fun on VR chat, going through a couple worlds that I found. And he also showed me a few things, and we talked, and we've had some good times talking to each other, and it's nice. I'm glad I got to meet you, dude. I'm glad we get to hang out. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good night, guys.